Hey ladies, I am going to come and talk to you guys today about one of basically my most favorite topics in the whole world. And that is time management and book writing. Those two together or combined are like everything for me. And then if you add goal setting in, it's like just so exciting. But anyways, one of the questions that I get so much is I hear women who say, well, I really want to write a book, but how in the world am I supposed to find time in my busy day-to-day schedule to actually write my book? I work, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a girlfriend. I have a part-time job. I'm starting a business. I volunteer at church. I'm in a ministry or whatever. And they're wearing all of these hats and it's causing them to be overwhelmed and feeling like they can't write their book. And so I just want to be really upfront and honest with you guys. When I wrote my book, no, I did not have enough time to write my book. When I started my business, no, I did not have enough time to start my business. When I was working full time and meeting with one-on-one clients after work, no, I did not have enough time. But one thing that I learned is you are not going to have enough time to do everything, but you will always have enough time to do what's ultimately most important. And if you deem writing your book as something that is most important, whether it's because you want to expand your brand or step out and do something that you've always desired to do, or maybe because you want to write a book because you have a powerful testimony to share or to showcase your expertise. If you deem that to be important, then you need to make it important as far as how it aligns in your schedule. And so today I'm going to come out and I'm going to share a few brief strategies to how you can make time in a busy schedule to write your book. So the first thing that I always do when I am like coming up with a book idea, it's something new, or I'm towards the end and I just need to like go and get it done, is I do a retreat. And the retreat can look different for all of you, for any of you, right? Some people may go to a local hotel and they may camp out there. The retreat could look like closing down everything for a weekend, like no social media, no telephone, no people, no nothing, and just honing in your office. A retreat could look like going to work on a Saturday for 8 hours because now you're in the work mindset and you're away from your comfort zone. The biggest thing that I notice is that when people are in their area or their space and they are working, they're more likely to fall into their familiar habits. So if you're in your living room and you're trying to write your book, you're more likely to take the remote and turn on the TV and turn on your favorite TV show, right? If you're at work, maybe you might be more likely to check work email. If you are in your office, but you're also in school full time, this was my struggle. I was working on a dissertation and I'm working on books, right? So when I was in my comfort space or my office writing space, my mind was programmed to think that space was only for schoolwork. And so a lot of times I'd start with my book, but then I get sidetracked and I start thinking of, oh, I need to add this to chapter 4 of my dissertation, or oh, I need to edit this, or oh, I need to do that. And so what I had to do is I had to take a lot of mini retreats. And so I would go to a local Starbucks because I needed to program my mind to go to a place where I was only going to focus on the book task at hand. And so for you, your retreat could look like a weekend. Your retreat could look like a day. Your retreat could look like an hour. Your retreat could look like 8 hours. But what you want to do is you want to program your mind to be focused on the book task at hand. So the second strategy that I have for you guys is to schedule time in your planner, like you would schedule your doctor's appointments or your work appointments or your kids' gymnastics or cheerleading or Boy Scouts, right? Schedule time in your planner and let everyone know about it. And so that means like once it's in your calendar, you need to stick to it. One. Two, once it's in your calendar, it needs to be blocked off and not interrupted, just like most people, would respect if you were at work. So if I'm going to my daughter's gymnastics, like everybody in my family knows my daughter's gymnastics are from 5 to 6 p.m. one night a week, right? And so I don't get calls during that time because most of the time I'm video recording, I'm watching what she's doing, I'm taping her so that we can process what they're doing at the end of the time. Oh, you did really, really well on, the start of your back handspring, but you need to change this move or you need to keep your legs tucked tighter together or whatever. But me recording them means that my phone is off limits for me to talk to everybody about whatever they want to talk about, right? And so I do the same thing with my book writing. And so a lot of times what I tell my one-on-one clients is if you don't feel brave enough to share with people that you're going to be using this time for your book writing, then turn your phone off. Put it on Do Not Disturb. Put it on airplane mode. So you're not even tempted to go that way. And then once it's on your planner, or in your calendar, make sure you're following it. Make sure you're sticking to it. If you say, all right, I'm going to skip my writing time for today, that may not be a big deal, right? But if you skip your writing time every single day for weeks and weeks and weeks, you're pushing yourself so much further behind than where you want to be. And so you need to make it a priority, as you would make the same priority for everything else in your life. If it is a goal that you have deemed that is important, you have to show that in your day-to-day actions. Another thing, strategy that I use for people that are looking for ways to incorporate writing into a busy schedule. One of the things that women often say is, well, I sat down to write, but I have no motivation, or I have no understanding of what I'm supposed to be writing about, or it just doesn't seem like it's flowing. One, the water doesn't come on until the faucet is turned on, right? And so a lot of people just assume that, okay, well, when I sit down, the writing will just come out. No. You have to start programming or wiring your brain to think of writing. And so the way that I do that with my one-on-one clients is I think of writing prompts. So the writing prompts can look very different. You can Google different writing prompts. You can think of writing prompts that are related to your subject. I have a journal, a Christian journal that I write in, and it's like, it takes different Bible verses. And then in the Bible verses, I go through and I write about how I feel. And one thing that I have noticed is as I am writing and I'm forcing myself to write, whether it's based on the topic or not, I'm starting to get into the habit, into the flow of writing. And so then before I know it, what I actually want to write about comes off so much easier. It doesn't feel nearly as overwhelming because I'm like, oh, it's here. I'm already in the process of writing. Another strategy that I'd like to share, and there's so many, like I could give you guys millions, but I want to give you guys some of the ones that really stand out to me that work really, really well for me. So another strategy that I want to share with you ladies is basically that you want to keep all your writing time chunked together. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm not saying that you can't write a little bit in the morning and a little bit in the evening. Do that. If that works for your schedule, by all means, do it. But one thing that I've noticed is that if you write for a chunk of time, not overwhelming yourself, but if you write for a chunk of time, and I found for me, that's about an hour. If you write for a chunk of time, you're already in the flow of writing, right? In the moment that you get up and you leave and you go to work, or the moment you get up and you go get a drink of water, the moment you get up and answer your phone, now you're distracted. And now it takes you more time to get into the momentum or get into the flow of things to now be ready to write again. And so what I do when I'm writing is I make sure that I already have everything set up in my environment. I make sure that I have water that I'm going to need. I make sure that I have writing prompts set up, so I'm not looking for reasons to Google things, right? I make sure that my phone is already on airplane mode. I make sure that my children know that I'm down writing. That's what I do. And so I am less likely to be distracted or pulled in 10 different directions because I'm so focused on getting it done within that time frame. And that's huge for me because it allows my mind to have its ultimate focus, which kind of lines up with the next step. Writing at your peak point. A lot of people don't realize that we have a point in our day, and it looks different for everybody, where we are most productive. For some people, they're most productive in the evening. For some people, they're most productive in the morning. Some people are most productive on their lunch hour. You have to learn yourself. And the best way to do that is to follow your schedule and track your productivity for a week in advance. Think about maybe a big project you're working on for work, maybe a project you're working on for school, maybe a project you're working on for your children. Maybe a project you're working on for your home environment. Start to identify where you're working on that project. Are you doing it mostly in the evening? Are you doing it mostly in the day? And maybe some of you may be doing it in the evening because you work during the day. But if you had a choice, when would you like to get that done? For me personally, I am most productive first thing in the morning. And the reason I'm most productive in the morning is because I'm not worried about my children. I'm not worried about being distracted. Nobody's sending me emails. Nobody's texting me. Nothing like that. And so it causes me to be more focused during that time. And so I know that. And because I know that, I have chosen the morning to be my segment of time to really hone in on my writing so that I am most focused and can get the writing done in the way that I want to get it done. I have one final strategy for you guys to take away. And like I said, I could give you millions, but I have one final strategy that is going to be really, really powerful. And that strategy is to be realistic with your goals. A lot of times I run into women who are like, all right, I was so excited about my book. And so I started off writing for 2 hours every single day, right? And they did it for a week and then they fell off because what happened is they burned themselves out. Do not burn yourself out. Look at your schedule. Look at all of the hats that you're wearing. Look at all the things that you're balancing and juggling and involved in, and identify what you can possibly do within your schedule that is realistic, that will not cause quick burnout. Okay. And so one of the things that I recommend for my clients, I recommend they start off with 30-minute blocks of time, right? And we do that for a week or maybe 2 weeks straight. And then from there, we start to pull back on things that we can get rid of, right? Maybe our favorite TV show needs to go on DVR for a while. Maybe social media, we need to say, okay, well, I'm going to pull back and I'm going to not do social media for a week. Whatever it is. And we start to build in our schedule that 30-minute block of time. Once you do that and then you start to pull back those things that are time suckers, then now you can start to add more time into your schedule, and then it feels more natural. And one thing that I've noticed is once you do things consistently, you start to build that habit. So it doesn't feel overwhelming. And so you want to think of what is realistic for a consistent basis. Do not think of something like, okay, well, I can write for 2 hours on Monday, then on Thursday it'll be 2 hours, then next week it might only be Tuesday, and then the week after that I won't do anything, because you're not building a routine, you're not building a habit. And then it's going to cause you frustration. You're going to start one way, fall off. You want to be as consistent as possible. And so start to look at your schedule. Maybe it's not every day for 30 minutes. Maybe it's every other day for an hour. As long as it's consistent and you are able to keep up with it, it will keep you in a position to succeed and to mentally make room in your mind and actually make room in your schedule to be able to write your book. So those are the strategies that I wanted to share. Like I said, I could share millions more. And if you'd like to connect, feel free to connect with me on Facebook at Nicolia Williams, or Instagram at Nicolia Williams, or even email me at Nicolia Williams. I'm sorry, at Nicolia at NicoliaWilliams.com. And we could talk about these strategies as well, because there are tons more strategies that I could provide you with or support you with. But I want you guys to start here, start to think about this. And most importantly, I want you to get over the mindset block of thinking that you automatically are going to have all this free time and it's going to be easy to write your book. Nobody has 1,000,000 hours in the day. And we all have the same, or we do actually have the same amount of hours. It's just how we're choosing to use our hours. And if we're using them wisely, then that will show in the outcome of our goals. So I wish you guys nothing but success as you work towards writing your book. And I will chat with you all later. Have a great day.